106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kaalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan, ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR-FM. Physics, Chemistry, Earth Science, Biology, Biochemistry, Environmental Science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is the way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity and how the world develops and works today. Science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day.
Ayan, a blessed Monday morning to everyone. It's a beautiful day to be with you again for another lesson in Science 8. Wow, Sir Ryan, naka-uniform tayo today. We look good. And also, shout out sa lahat ng mga students na nandito sa school for their first day of face-to-face. Welcome back to school, students. We are now on the second week of quarter 4, shift 1. It's nice to have you again, mga kadonyans.
Yes, so good morning once again. We also would like to greet our officer in charge, Ma'am Ofelia S. Ralutin, our dedicated head teachers and teachers from different learning areas, our dear parents and learners. Good morning po sa ating lahat. So shout out sa aming, ilan na ba ang viewers natin?
31,000.
Okay, so 31 viewers. So ayan, maraming salamat sa mga nakikinig at sumusubaybay sa oras na ito. We hope that you are still following the health and safety protocols set by the IATF. To my 8 Ivory and 8 Beige students, hello!
Yes, Ma'am Ria. Greetings also to my 8 Maroon, 8 Purple, and 8 Lavender. And also sa mga students ni Ma'am Mirna Galingana, ang 8 Aquamarine and 8 Tangerine.
Okay, so good morning to everyone. Good morning to all our viewers. Gaya ng sabi nyo kanina, umpisa ng first face-to-face ngayon. Nandun ako sa San Juan campus kanina. So mga excited na din yung mga learners natin doon. Okay, so shout out to my 8 Copernicus, 8 Aristotle, and 8 Socrates. Also sa mga students ni Sir Hector, ang 8 Science at ang 8 Crimson.
Yes, I want also to greet my 8 Burgundy students and syempre, hindi natin makakalimutan ang 8 SPA and 8 SPJ by Ma'am Donna.
Okay, so today's topic is all about cell division. Okay, now, so the learning competency of today's topic is to explain the significance of meiosis in maintaining the chromosome number with specific objectives, compare mitosis and meiosis, and describe the abnormalities that may occur during meiosis, and explain the significance of meiosis in maintaining the chromosome number.
So, very interesting ang topic natin ngayon. So, learners, makinig mabuti. So, this time, makinig muna tayo sa ating recorded RBI. So, keep listening. So, we will be right back.
It's Scientific Time!
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science. These are some branches of science. Science is about a whole lot more than that. And to sum it up, we believe that science is a way of helping the brain grow in finding new knowledge and help us defeat our curiosity of how the world develops and works today. Science, science, science. This is your class, and this is science. And now, here is your host for the day. Good day, our dear listeners, especially our dear learners from grade 8. You are listening to our school's radio station, DWDR-FM 106.3 Dance Radio. Let us start the day with spirit full of positive energy while listening to our enjoyable lesson in Science 8, Quarter 4. I am grateful to be with you today. In spite the COVID-19 pandemic we are experiencing, you are still willing to learn. Make sure that you are in a comfortable place and far from noise or any disturbance while listening. I am Teacher Dennis Mendoza, your host, together with Teacher Riza Ann Marsan, our technical specialist. At this moment, get your learning activity sheets in Science Week 2, titled The Cell Cycle, Mitosis and Meiosis, with competencies. Compare mitosis and meiosis and their role in the cell division cycle, and explain the significance of meiosis in maintaining the chromosome number. I know you are all set and ready to listen and learn. This time, I turn you over to our amazing radio teacher in science, Teacher Rio Faye Magaway.
Good day, our dear grade 8 learners. I am your teacher, Teacher Rio Faye B. Magaway. It is a brand new day, a new day to learn. Are you ready to have our lesson regarding meiosis, my dear learners?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's have a short review. You learned about the cell, its organelles, and functions. You also learned about the similarities and differences between animal and plant cell. You learned also that cells undergo a cycle known as cell cycle, just like butterflies. Before a cell divides, it must complete several important tasks. It must grow, copy its genetic material, and physically split into two daughter cells. Cells perform these tasks in an organized and predictable series of steps.
That is right, ma'am. Cell undergoes stages
in which it grows and develops just like a butterfly.
Correct, my dear. The cell cycle is a series of steps that take place in a cell as it grows and divides.
Ma'am, the cell cycle can be thought of as the life cycle of a cell. It is the series of growth and development a cell undergoes to make new daughter cells.
Yes, dear learners. There are two main stages in the cell cycle: interphase and cell division. A part of the cell cycle is where a cell undergoes mitosis or meiosis. What is mitosis?
Mitosis is a type of cell division that takes place in somatic or body cells such as those in your skin and bones, ma'am.
Do you know what happens in the cell during interphase? Please refer from page 1 of your learning activity sheet.
Ma'am, interphase is subdivided into 3 phases: G1, S, and G2, ma'am. During G1 or GAP1 phase, the cell grows larger and the number of organelles like nuclear membrane increases. Then the cell enters S phase. The cell replicates its DNA, ma'am. At this point, the cell possesses twice as much DNA as it normally does and will need to divide. And after more growth occurs in the GAP2 or G2 phase, the cell is ready to divide and enters mitosis.
Very good! During interphase, the cell grows and makes a copy of its DNA before it enters the mitotic phase. Mitosis involves 4 stages, right?
Yes, ma'am. Mitosis takes place in 4 continuous stages: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase.
Can you please describe what happens in each stage?
In the first phase of mitosis, which is prophase, ma'am, chromatin coils tightly into visible chromosomes, ma'am. Then the nuclear envelope begins to break down. In animal cells, centrioles separate and move to opposite poles of the cell.
Very good! How about in metaphase?
Ma'am, during metaphase, the second mitotic phase, the nuclear envelope is completely gone, allowing for the formation of a spindle fiber. Chromosomes line up along the equator with spindle fibers providing the framework that holds them in place.
That's correct. Now, look at the figure on page 1 of your learning activity sheet. Can you describe what happens to the chromosome?
Ma'am, the chromosomes are separated into individual chromatin that are pulled to opposite poles and where cytokinesis, the division of cytoplasm, begins. This phase is called anaphase, which is the shortest phase of cell division.
That's right. Based from the figure on page 1 of your learning activity sheet, kindly describe what happens on the last stage of mitosis.
During the final mitotic phase, telophase, the recently separated chromatids uncoil into the chromatin, as seen in interphase. Then nuclear envelopes reform around the chromatin on each side of the dividing cell, ma'am.
Amazing! You are all correct. Cytokinesis overlaps with the later stages of mitosis to complete the mitotic phase. In animal cells, cytokinesis involves the formation of a cleavage furrow which divides the cell into 2. In plants, cells do not pinch off. Instead, a new cell wall called cell plate forms. What is the resulting product at the end of mitosis?
Ma'am, the meiotic phase results in the formation of two genetically identical daughter cells.
Definitely. Mitosis produces two identical daughter cells from a single parent cell. Each daughter cell contains 46 chromosomes similar to the parent cell. Now, do all cells programmed to divide?
No, ma'am. Not all cells are programmed to divide. Some cells, such as nerve cells of the nervous system, do not continue past the GI checkpoint of interphase, do not enter synthesis, and therefore do not enter mitosis under normal conditions.
Very good. That is why there are checkpoints at different stages of the cell cycle. These ensure that normal and functional daughter cells are produced. Do you know what could happen if these checkpoints are either overridden or ignored?
Ma'am, it could result in rapid, uncontrolled cell growth which lead to cancer.
Wow! You really learned a lot. Now that you already know the process of mitosis, let's proceed to the other type of cell division, which is meiosis. You have learned that fertilization occurs when the sperm meets the egg. But do you know where these sperm cells and egg cells come from? Another, have you ever wondered how siblings have the same parents and still look so different? Your brother has curly hair while you and your sister have straight hair. Today, we are going to learn the process that makes it possible. A process called meiosis. Mitosis makes identical body cells like skin cells and stomach cells. It is important for growth and development or to replace worn-out tissues, whereas meiosis does not make body cells. It produces sperm and egg cells, collectively known as gametes. Gametes are organisms' reproductive cells. They are also referred to as sex cells. Female gametes are called ova or egg cells, and male gametes are called sperm.
You mean, ma'am, egg cells and sperm cells are products of meiosis?
Yes, my dear. Meiosis leads to the production of germ cells or sex cells needed for sexual reproduction. Gametes are haploid. They have only half the number of chromosomes as a normal body cell. This means how many chromosomes do they have?
Ma'am, we humans have 46 chromosomes. If gametes are haploid, that means sperm and egg cells have 23 chromosomes.
That's right. Meiosis results in cells that only have half the usual number of chromosomes, one from each pair. For that reason, meiosis is often called reduction division.
But how, ma'am?
For us to know why gametes have only 23 chromosomes, stay tuned. We'll be back after this short infomercial.
Meiosis was first observed in sea urchin egg in 1876 by German biologist Oskar Herdwig. A decade later, Belgian zoologist Edward van Beneden described a similar process in the eggs of the round worm, Ascaris. The word meiosis originates from the Greek language. It means to lessen. This refers to the lessening of the number of chromosomes within the cell.
It's science time! You're listening to Teacher Rio.
I'm back. At this point, let's have a tour on the stages of meiosis. Before we start getting into the stages of meiosis to make gametes, we have to remember what happens before meiosis starts. Actually, this also happens before mitosis. It's the stage known as interphase. The cell prepares to ensure that it is ready to divide. It undergoes interphase in which it grows, replicates its chromosomes, and checks all of its systems. Meiosis splits into Meiosis I and Meiosis II. It goes through the same stages like as mitosis: Prophase, Metaphase, Anaphase, and Telophase. Meiosis I and II have same names except with the Roman numerals after them, just like sequels. Just as some movies, the sequels pretty much have the same plot, just some new actors. Meiosis begins with a parent cell with 46 chromosomes. The parent cell undergoes one round of DNA replication followed by 2 separate cycles of nuclear division.
Ma'am, you mean in the process of meiosis? Meiosis I is the first meiotic division?
You are right! And Meiosis I begins with Prophase I.
What happens during Prophase 1, ma'am?
During Prophase I, the complex of DNA and protein known as chromatin condenses to form chromosomes. The pairs of replicated chromosomes are known as sister chromatids, and they remain joined at a central point called the centromere. A large structure called the meiotic spindle also forms from long proteins called microtubules on each side or pole of the cell. The pairs of homologous chromosome form tetrads. Within the tetrad, any pair of chromatid arms can overlap and fuse in a process called crossing over or recombination.
Aha! What is recombination or crossing over, ma'am?
Recombination or crossing over is a process that breaks, recombines, and rejoins sections of DNA to produce new combinations of genes.
This crossing over is an exchange of genes, ma'am?
Yes, that is correct. The genes are mixed up so that it will not result in a perfect duplicate of genes like mitosis. That means that each gamete has different sets of genes. These result to the uniqueness of each individuals.
Wow! What about the next stage, ma'am?
In Metaphase 1, the homologous pairs of chromosomes align on either side of the equatorial plate. Then in Anaphase 1, the spindle fibers contract and pull the homologous pairs, each with 2 chromatids, away from each other and toward each pole of the cell. And the final stage in Meiosis I is Telophase I. At this point, the chromosomes are enclosed in nuclei. The cell now undergoes a process called cytokinesis that divides the cytoplasm of the original diploid cell into 2 daughter cells. Each daughter cell is haploid and has only 1 set of chromosomes or half the total number of chromosomes of the original cell, which is from 46 to 23.
That means, ma'am, when you have half the number of chromosomes, you are called a haploid cell.
Yes, that's correct. Haploid means half the regular number, and the opposite normal cells are considered to be diploid cells.
Wow! Truly, meiosis is amazing, ma'am.
But that is not the end of meiosis. The 2 daughter cells with 23 chromosomes each undergo meiosis too. I'll be back after this short break.
Did you know that all eukaryotes that reproduce sexually use meiosis? This also includes many single-celled organisms. Meiosis does not occur in archaea or bacteria, which reproduce by asexual processes such as binary fission.
It's science time! You're listening to Teacher Rio.
I'm back. Let's proceed to Meiosis II, which is a sequel of Meiosis I.
Ma'am, you told us a while back that Meiosis II is similar to the process of mitosis.
Yes, Meiosis II is a mitotic division of each of the haploid cells produced in Meiosis I. Will you try to describe what happens during Prophase II?
Ma'am, during Prophase 2, just like in Prophase of mitosis, the chromosomes condense and a new set of spindle fibers forms. The chromosomes begin moving toward the equator of the cell.
That is correct. What about during Metaphase 2, then Anaphase 2?
During Metaphase 2, the centromeres of the paired chromatids align along the equatorial plate in both cells, ma'am. Then in Anaphase 2, the chromosomes separate at the centromeres. The spindle fibers pull the separated chromosomes toward each pole of the cell.
Very good. What is then the final stage of Meiosis II and the resulting daughter cells?
Ma'am, the chromosomes are enclosed in nuclear membranes. Cytokinesis follows, dividing the cytoplasm of the two cells, ma'am. At the conclusion of meiosis, there are 4 haploid daughter cells that go on.
Excellent! In males, all 4 cells become sperm, while in females, only 1 becomes a mature egg.
What happens to the 3 remaining, ma'am?
The remaining 3 become reabsorbed into the body.
Oh!
Did you enjoy our topic today?
Yes, ma'am. Now I know why gametes contain only 23 chromosomes and why we look differently from each other.
But what could happen if sex cells reproduce through mitosis?
Ma'am, if 6 cells reproduce through mitosis, then the resulting chromosome number is still 46. So, if egg cell and sperm cell undergo fertilization, the resulting chromosome number would be 92, ma'am.
Yes, the chromosome number would be 92, and that is too much. The normal chromosome number for humans is only 46. That is why be thankful to meiosis. Because of this process, you are perfectly unique to everyone else.
Amazing!
That concludes our lesson for today. It is now time to assess what you have learned. I give you the description and you will identify which stage in meiosis it occurs. I give you 5 seconds to think of the answer. Write your answer in a sheet of paper. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Number 1. The chromosomes condense and the nuclear envelope breaks down, then crossing over occurs. I repeat, the chromosomes condense and the nuclear envelope breaks down, then crossing over occurs. What is your answer?
Prophase 1, ma'am.
That's right. Number 2. Pairs of homologous chromosomes move to the equator of the cell. I repeat, pairs of homologous chromosomes move to the equator of the cell. Your answer is
Metaphase 1, ma'am.
very good. Let's proceed to number 3. The 2 cells produced by meiosis 1 divide to form 4 haploid daughter cells. I repeat, the 2 cells produced by meiosis 1 divide to form 4 haploid daughter cells? The correct answer is
Telophase 2, ma'am.
very good. For number 4, the process where cytoplasm divides. I repeat, the process where cytoplasm divides. What is your answer?
Ma'am, cytokinesis is the process where the cytoplasm divides.
Your answer is correct. And for the last item, number 5. Centromeres divide, then chromatids move to the opposite poles of the cells. I repeat, centromeres divide, then chromatids move to the opposite poles of the cells. What is the correct answer?
Anaphase 2, ma'am.
Amazing! You are doing a great job. You know already meiosis and its stages. But what about its significance? Why is meiosis important in maintaining the chromosome number? Let me hear from you your answers.
Meiosis is important, ma'am, because without it, the union of two gametes during fertilization would result in offspring with twice the normal number of chromosomes.
Ma'am, having the correct number of chromosomes is critically important to having a successful pregnancy. If the embryo does not have the correct number of chromosomes, then it may fail to develop properly, and errors during meiosis can lead to mutations in gametes.
You are all correct. Defective gametes that undergo fertilization may result in miscarriages or ultimately lead to genetic disorders. In humans, there are certain conditions that are caused by meiosis gone wrong. Examples are Down syndrome, Pato syndrome, and Edwards syndrome. I am so happy that you are learning. Just keep in mind the mnemonic device to always remember the stages in mitosis or meiosis. PMAT, Papa, Mama are together. You may answer the activities in your learning activity sheets in your most convenient time. Now, somebody must sum up the discussions today. What is meiosis?
Meiosis is a type of cell division that reduces the number of chromosomes in halves to form sex cells, ma'am. Cells in meiosis consist of 2 successive nuclear divisions, meiosis 1 and 2, with only 1 round of DNA replication. Just like mitosis, meiosis includes prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase.
You are right. What are the significant occurrences in meiosis 1 and meiosis 2?
Ma'am, in meiosis 1, crossing over during prophase 1 results in the exchange of genetic materials between homologous chromosomes. Because of crossing over, every daughter cell is genetically different from each other. That is why, even though we siblings have the same father and mother, we look different from each other.
Ma'am, the mechanics of meiosis 2 is similar to mitosis, except that each dividing cell has only one set of homologous chromosomes.
What about the processes where sperm and egg cells are produced?
Ma'am, meiosis produces sperm in the testes of males through spermatogenesis, and egg cells in the ovaries of females through oogenesis. One parent cell produces 4 daughter cells, each of which receives half the number of chromosomes from its parent cell, ma'am.
I am so proud of you. You are truly amazing. Keep on learning. We're done with the lesson. Let's call it a day. Thank you for listening. Back to our host, Teacher Dennis U. Mendoza.
Thank you, Teacher Rio. How is your learning today, our dearest learners? I hope your learnings today can make a significant difference in your point of view about meiosis. If you intend to ask for more clarifications regarding our lesson, you may call or text your science teacher. You have your teacher's cell phone number written on your schedule. I would like to acknowledge the teachers behind this School on the Air lesson. Teacher Rio Faye Magaway, your radio teacher on the air and scriptwriter. Teacher Donabel G. Velasco, content editor. Teacher Vicente Rodriguez, language editor. And Teacher Riza Ann Marsan, our technical specialist. I am Teacher Dennis Mendoza, your host, saying, stay home and follow all health protocols for your safety. Thank you and see you next episode. Goodbye.
Dance Radio, siniharalan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong, sulong edukalidad. Dance Radio, learning is amazing.
Physics, chemistry, earth science, biology, biochemistry, environmental science.
Ayan, you have just listened to the RBI lesson in Science 8. You have learned about the stages of meiosis. So before we start today's discussion, please save this number so that if you do not have internet, you may call in this number. Okay, so para ito sa mga activities natin mamaya. Okay, please save this number, 0997 5497449. Ulitin natin. 0997-5497449. Okay, did you know, Sir Ryan, did you know, every day, every hour, and every second, our cells divide, which is one of the most significant processes in our lives. Necessary yan yung pagdi-divide ng ating cells. Kaya tayo lumalaki or nag-grow. Did you know that some cells like skin cells are constantly dividing? Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na dead cells kasi pinapalitan sila ng new cells. And of course, we need to remove that dead cells. Okay, so we need to continuously make new skin cells to replace the skin cells we lose. Also, cells of animals and plants do also divide, and all living organisms, hindi lang po tao.
Yes, that's right, Ma'am Rosel. So, sabi nga ni Ma'am Rosel, all organisms divide. At konting recall lang about the cell theory, di ba? So, living organisms, lahat ng living organisms are made up of cells, and cells are the basic structural organizational unit of all organisms, and all cells come from pre-existing cells. So, when cells divide, they make new cells. So, a single cell divides to make 2 cells, and these 2 cells then divide to make 4 cells, and so on. So, we call this process cell division, and cell reproduction because new cells are formed when old cells divide. So, but why do cells divide, our dear learners? So, ito ang question number 1. Bakit ba nagdi-divide ang ating mga cells? Do you know their purpose for dividing? Okay, please comment down your answer. Kung bakit nga ba nagdi-divide ang ating mga cells or mga cells ng organisms?
Okay, so tignan natin, Ma'am Rio, kung meron
Yes,
na. So, why do cells divide? So, please key in your answer in the chat box, our dear learners. Okay, tignan natin. So, meron na bang mga ma'am?
Okay, Ma'am.
Ashley, meron ma'am. Ashley Timoteo. Cells divide in order to reproduce and repair cells.
Yes, meron ding nag-text sa akin, Ma'am Lynn, from Lester John Lopez of 8 Ivory. So, cells need to divide for your body to grow and for body tissue such as skin to continuously renew itself.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Also
meron-
from Zara May, ma'am, ang sabi niya, because our body grow. O, tama nga naman.
Yes, and from Aslin also, cells divide in order to reproduce and to repair of cells.
Wow, so thank you our dear learners. So ibig sabihin, umpisa pa lang, umaarangkada na sila.
O yan, yes ma'am. So lahat ng learners natin ay sumagot ng tama, no? So cells divide for many reasons. So for example, when your skin on your knee, cells divide to replace all dead or damaged cells. Di ba ma'am, lalo nung bata tayo, napaka-playful natin, ano? So kung
Yes.
nadadapa tayo, ayan, nasusugatan tayo, pero eventually, nawawala or naghihilom yung sugat. So, kaya, pag nagdi-divide yung ating cell, yung mga nasisirang or na-damage na cell ay napapalitan. Ayan. So, cells also divide. So, living things can grow. So, di ba, nung maliliit pa tayo, di ba? Yung maliliit tayo noon, tapos ngayon, ang lalaki na natin. It is because yung cell natin ay nagdi-divide.
Kung hindi kaya nagdi-divide, sirs, gano'n kaya tayo kaliliit?
Baby
Ganun pa
face
sa
pa rin
baby
tayo,
pa rin.
ma'am. Baby
So it's
size.
really amazing.
Yes,
Kaya nga
ma'am.
sabi sa RBI natin.
And when organisms grow, it isn't because cells are getting larger. Organisms grow because cells are dividing to produce more and more cells. At alam nyo ba mga ma'am, in human bodies, nearly 2 trillion cells divide every day. So napakarami, ano ma'am?
That's a
Pero,
big number.
did you know also that we lose 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells every minute? So ibig sabihin ma'am, if in 1 hour meron tayong 60 minutes times 24, meron tayong 1,440 minutes times 35,000. And so meron tayong 50,400,000 ang namamatay naman kada araw. Bakit ka nangyayari yon?
Talagang na-compute ni Sir
Yes,
Ryan.
ma'am. Kasi nga, ma'am, nangyayari yan para ma-maintain and ma-replace yung mga dead skin natin. So, parang nababalanse lang yung may nare-repair at meron ding nadadamage.
Therefore, sir, necessary ang repair at damage ng skin.
Yes, ma'am.
Hindi pwedeng nagre-regenerate lang ng new skin cell. Kailangan ay magkaroon din ng dead skin
Yes, ma'am.
cells. Okay, so all of us started as a single cell. Imagine that. Diyan tayo nagsimula. Single cell, and we call that as zygote. So the zygote begins as a single cell but divides rapidly in the days following fertilization. So ganun siya kabilis. Rapidly ang kanyang pag-divide. In cell division, the cell that is dividing is called the parent cell. And the parent cell divides into 2 daughter cells. And then the process repeats in what is called the cell cycle. So that is how we grow, through cell division from a single cell called zygote into trillions of cells.
Okay, so just a short review. The cell cycle can be thought of as the life cycle of a cell. So we can see the diagram of a cell cycle in your learning activity sheets on page 1, our dear learners. At meron din dito sa ating screen. So, what is a cell cycle again? Okay, kindly key in your answers in our chat box, our dear learners. What is a cell cycle? Okay, tingnan
Yes,
natin.
kung binasa nila ang learning activity
Yes.
sheet nila, no, Ma'am Lynn, nandoon.
Page 1,
Oo.
dyan sa inyong learning activity sheet. Okay, so meron na ba mga ma'am? Sir? Tingnan natin.
Kasalukuyan silang nagta-type, ma'am. Ayan, typing.
So, what is a cell cycle? Kung ang butterfly ay may life cycle.
Yes, the
oo.
metamorphosis.
Yes. Ang cell din meron. Ano kaya ang cell cycle din? Okay. So,
Parang hirap silang ayun, meron. Sarah May Berioso. It is the cycle that we are from a zygote or that is single cell to trillion cells. Kay Jamie Lamog ng 8 Aristotle, mabilis. The cell cycle is a series of events including cellular growth, development, and cell division that produces new cells known as a daughter cell. And from Daniel Clyde Castillo, a cell is a series of events including cellular growth o pareho lang sagot ni
Okay, definitely, Ma'am Lynn, may point yung mga sinabi ng ating mga learners. Very good learners. Okay, so the cell cycle is an ordered series of events involving two main phases. So we have the cell growth and the cell division. That produces two new daughter cells. Okay, so it seems that cells must be constantly dividing. Remember, we have 2 trillion cell divisions in your body every day. Ganun po siya kadami. But each cell actually spends most of its time in the interface. So kung makikita ninyo sa ating screen, ang unang mangyayari is we have the interface. At bago mag-divide ang mga cells, naghahanda muna sila dito sa sinasabi nating interface. Diyan yung parang kumbaga, yung mga nag-face-to-face ngayon, nag-ready muna sila before going to school.
Yes.
So, yung pagre-ready nila, nandun sila sa interface.
Hindi lang mga learners, even tayo, hinanda nating mabuti ang school para sa kaligtasan ng ating mga learners and of course, everybody, pati tayo. Okay, so talking of interface, Ma'am Rosel, so pag sinabi nating interface, that is the period when a cell is getting ready to divide and start the cell cycle. And there are 3 stages of interface. These are the G1 or what we call the growth 1 stage, the S or synthesis stage, and G2 that is growth 2 stage. Okay, so ano kaya ang nangyayari or what happens in its stage? Okay, so during G1 or growth 1 stage, the organelles start to double in number. So, the cell increases in size. So, lumalaki sila. So, the genomic DNA is assessed for damage and the cell stockpiles energy reserves and the components to synthesize DNA. Ano naman ang DNA, Ma'am Rio?
Okay, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Nandito yung chromosomes natin, genetic code.
Okay, yes, thank you, Ma'am Rio. And during the synthesis stage or the S phase, the chromosomes, the centrosomes, and the centrioles in animal cells, kasi wala ito sa plant cells, duplicate or nadodoble ito or replicate. Pag sinabi natin replication, means that a DNA strand makes a copy of itself. Para ba Xerox copy? So, ganon, nadodoble. Ayan, so makikita natin dyan sa ating screen. That yung M, that is the mitotic phase.
So, ready na to divide. Ano, ma'am? So, ayan. So, Ma'am Lynn, during the interface, may tinatawag tayong checkpoint sa cell cycle. Why are checkpoints important to the health of cells? So, may mga checkpoint sa G1, G2, and meron din sa spindle assembly checkpoint. So, checkpoints are critical to prevent the cell from progressing to the next phase of the cell cycle before the prior phase has been completed. So, kagaya din sa mga traffic or dyan sa highways, di ba ma'am? May mga checkpoint para once na may nalabag na batas, is ma-stop na siya. Hindi na kung makita pa ng iba, hindi na nila tutularan pa.
Kaya din dyan sa labas sa atin, may mga checkpoints, di ba?
Yes.
Yung mga station na binababaan
Oy,
ng mga learners
yes, yung
natin.
kanina ma'am,
Oo.
di ba? Para kapag kalimbawa mataas ang temperature, so pwede natin silang i-isolate.
Sa mga cell naman, para hindi na once na naghalimbawa is 2 more cell pala yun, hindi na mag-grow ng mag-grow.
That is why our body, ma'am, is intelligent din. Ang
Yes.
galing. Lahat ng processes.
Oo.
Okay, so if you can still remember, our dear learners, so we have what we call the eukaryotic cell and the prokaryotic cell. So let's differentiate the two. Pag sinabi nating prokaryotic cell, it is a single-celled organism that lacks a nucleus. Anong ibig sabihin ng lacks a nucleus? Wala siyang nucleus. And other membrane-bound organelles. While eukaryotic or eukaryotes organisms, cells have a nucleus enclosed with nuclear envelope. So yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Si prokaryotic, walang nucleus. Si eukaryotic, may nucleus. Ngayon, paano sila nag-undergo ng cell division? So let's take a look first with prokaryote. So prokaryote organism, example neto is bacteria. Ayan, so most prokaryotic cells divide by the process of binary fission. Ibig sabihin, hindi na nila kailangan ng other or ng pair para makapag-reproduce kasi automatically we have the binary fission. Kaya nga ang bacteria mabilis yan dumami kasi they reproduce through binary fission. While eukaryotic cell division naman, it occurs through mitosis or meiosis. So tayo ay eukaryotes organism, so we will undergo either mitosis or meiosis.
Okay, so ayan, so you have learned about nung recall natin, eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell. So mag-focus tayo sa eukaryotic cell division. So after mag-grow ang cell at ma-replicate, ayan, kumbaga sa keyboard shortcut, Control C, ano ma'am? Okay, so after ma-replicate ang DNA, okay, so etong DNA, it contains the genetic code of organisms inherited from by the children from their parents. So once ito ay nakopya, ready na itong mag-divide. So yung cell ready nang mag-divide. So mayroon dalawang klase ng cell division. What are these, my dear learners? Ayun, binanggit na kanina actually ni Ma'am Rosel.
So please, key in your answer in the chat box. So what
Yes.
are the two cell division?
What are the two types
Two
of
types
cell
of
division?
Yes, ma'am, and take note nangyayari lang to sa mga eukaryotes.
Yes.
Nabanggit ko na yan kanina kung talagang nakikinig ang ating mga
Yes.
learners. Ano ba yung dalawang yon?
It
Starts with letter
M. Both
Okay,
Ma'am
yes.
Rosel?
M. M and M.
M&M.
Chocolate yun, ha?
Okay, may nagtitext. Tignan ko nga kung tama ito. Wala, sunod-sunod na sila.
Sige. Anong sagot nila? Ito si Daniel Clyde Castillo, Mitosis and Meiosis.
Oo, John Lester. Ayun, mitosis and meiosis din ang sagot.
Okay, Sweetel Arenzana, Mitosis or Meiosis. Cassandra, Mitosis and Meiosis. Marami nang sumagot.
Yes,
Mitosis and Meiosis daw, Ma'am Rio. Correct ba?
Yes, you are all correct, my dear learners. These are mitosis and meiosis. So, cells that will undergo mitosis, ayan, includes our skin cells, stomach cells. These are collectively known as body cells.
Or other term for body cells is somatic cells.
Okay,
Yes.
Sir Ryan.
Yes, that's right, Ma'am Lynn and Ma'am Rio. Mitosis is how somatic or non-reproductive cells divide. So somatic cells make up of most of your body tissues and organs, including skin, muscles, lungs, gut, and hair cells. This type of cell division is good for basic growth. Kasi nga, bakit tayo lumalaki? Ayan, bakit tayo nagigain ng weight? Eh, syempre, because of may nangyayaring cell division. And repair, kagaya ng mga example natin kanina, pag nasusugatan, napapalitan ng bagong or na-replenish yung mga skin natin. And maintenance, kasi may mga ibang tawag dito, mga cells na kailangan ng mapalitan, ano ma'am? Para yung function ng mga organs natin na replenish is mas maganda yung kanilang at nagagawa nila yung function nila, ma'am. Yes. Ayan. And yan, Ma'am Rio.
Mitosis plays an important part in the development of embryos and is important for the growth and development of our bodies as well. Kaya nga ng sabi ni Sir Ryan. So mitosis produces new cells and replaces cells that are old, lost, or damaged. Okay, did you know hair has the highest rate of mitosis? So an average hair grows 0.3 millimeters every day and 1 centimeter every month. Okay, it is a misconception na it is a myth. Kapag daw laging ginugupit ang buhok ay mas mabilis humaba. That is a myth, our dear learners. It is because of mitosis.
Ayan.
Okay.
Okay, so this time,
Sir Ryan, may question pa tayo, no? Question number 3. If a cell divides through mitosis every 24 hours, ayan, dear learners, how many cells will be produced in 2 days? Okay, tingnan nga natin kung naintindihan nyo ang concept about mitosis. If a cell divides through mitosis every 24 hours, how many cells will be produced in 2 days? Remember that in a day, there are
2 trillion.
24 hours, ayan.
2 days.
Oo, 2 days ang inaano natin. Okay, tignan nga natin. Ayan, so, ayan, may sumagot. Ang sagot niya ay 4 cells. Tama ba yon, Sir Ryan?
Ashley Timoteo, 4.
Sige.
Parang may
cells.
kulang yun, ma'am.
Yes.
For what?
Yes, dapat may ano yun, ma'am, di ba?
Oo, ano yun?
Anong
4
four yun?
cells. Ang tanong kasi dyan, how many cells? Ayan.
Oo.
So, yes, you are correct. Aslin, 4 na cell ang maproproduce. Kasi nga, di ba, ang tinatanong dyan, 2 days. And 2 days, 48 hours yon. So, 2 beses na 24 hours. So sa iisang cell, ayan, eto nandito pala siya. Ayan, eto yung parent cell. After 24 hours, it produces 2 cells. Yes, 2 new cells. And then, after 24 hours again, itong dalawa ay nag-produce ng tig-2 din nila. So, yes. So, after 2 days, meron ng 4 na new or daughter cells.
Yes, you have 4 daughters.
4 daughter cells.
So marami din na nag-comment na ma'am, 4 ang kanilang mga sagot. Okay, so ibig sabihin, marami ang nakakasagot sa ating mga learners na iintindihan nila ang lesson at siguro nga nag-advance reading na sila.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, yes.
The discussion, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Now, this time naman, ma'am, what about meiosis? So, what type of cells undergo meiosis? So, cells will undergo meiosis are the sex cells or gametes. So, kung kanina, ma'am, ang body cells or somatic cells ay nag-undergo siya ng mitosis, ang mga sex cells naman ay nag-undergo siya ng meiosis. So, meiosis is cell division that creates sex cells, gametes, like dun sa pag-female, egg cells, through the process of oogenesis. And sa female naman, are sperms, through the process of spermatogenesis. Ito yung goal nila, ma'am, is to make daughter cells with exactly half as many chromosomes as the starting cell, which is yung haploid cell. Ayan.
Okay, so like mitosis, meiosis also has distinct stages called prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Okay? A key difference, however, is that during meiosis, each of these phases occurs twice. Kaya may tinatawag na Meiosis I at Meiosis II. So my first round of division at my second round. Now, Sir Ryan?
Yes, ma'am. That's right, Ma'am Rio. So, meiosis involved 2 rounds of nuclear division. So, di ba yung may daro tayong 4 distinct stages, which is yung PMAT, yung prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. So, sa meiosis 1, magkakaroon tayo ng prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and telophase 1. So, meiosis is very important because it ensures that all organisms na yung mga na-produce via sexual reproduction ay nagko-contain ng exact number ng chromosomes. Okay. So first is yung sa meiosis 1. Ano nga ba yung significant events or nangyayari sa meiosis 1? Ito yung separation of homologous chromosomes. So sabi nga kanina mga learners, may 4 distinct stages ang meiosis 1. So sa prophase 1, ayan, so ang mangyayari dito is magkakaroon ng, syempre, preparation, ano ma'am?
Yes.
And then, pag nakuha niya na yung exact size niya, gaya ng mitosis din, mag-undergo na siya sa second, which is yung sa metaphase 1. So, yung sa metaphase 1, yung bivalent natin, which is yung chromosome, ay nag-a-align siya sa equatorial plate. Ayan. So, M kasi for middle, ano ma'am? So, second is anaphase 1. Okay, so A for away. So dito, nag-i-start na silang mag-separate.
Chromatid
Yes,
separates.
yung sister
Yes.
chromatids
Yes.
natin, ma'am, is nagse-separate na sila. And then, sa telophase 1 naman, T for 2, yan. So yung magkakaroon na ng cytokinesis, which is makikita na natin na para naghihiwalay, ano ma'am, nagiging dalawa na yung...
May cleavage.
Oo, may cleavage formation
form
na
ng
siya.
cleavage furrow. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. So nagdi-divide na siya. And then yung result niya is 2 diploid daughter cell, ano ma'am?
Yan na yung finished product finished product ng meiosis 1. Meiosis 1 lang yun, sir, ha?
Yes, ma'am.
Kasi may next pa dyan, eh.
Okay. So humans, ay dito pala. So what is the number of chromosomes in each daughter cell if the starting cell contains 46? Yan, pwede siguro nating tanungin yung mga learner natin, Ma'am Rio.
Okay. So, what is the number of chromosomes in each daughter after meiosis? Meiosis 1.
Meiosis 1.
If the starting cell contains 46.
46.
Okay, remember, doon sa ating RBI kanina, binanggit na yung mga different stages ng meiosis 1. Okay. So, anong nangyayari doon sa meiosis 1? So, let's take a look with this diagram. So, 2N, yan po ay, ito po yung diploid. Diploid. Okay. Oo. So, after meiosis 1, mapapansin ninyo, from 2N, naging 1N na lang siya. So, that means, from diploid to haploid.
Half naman. Oh.
Yes. So, from 46 chromosomes, after meiosis 1, naging 23 chromosomes each daughter cell na lang sila.
Okay, so balik tayo sa question, Ma'am Rio. May mga nagko-comment na. Paki-ano mo yung question.
Okay. So, what is the number of chromosomes in each daughter cell after meiosis 1 if the starting cell contains 46? Ano yung mga sagot nila, Ma'am Lynn?
Ang sagot nila, si Ate 23 chromosomes, Daniel Clyde Castillo 23, Ashley 23, Ashley 23, Arian Faith 23,
Okay.
ang sagot nila.
So, they're all correct, Ma'am Lynn. chromosome na po ang number of chromosomes in each daughter cell after meiosis. Actually, kahit meiosis 1 or meiosis 2, 23 pa rin. Yes.
So, congratulations learners. So, ang gagaling nila ngayon. Okay. Sa bagay, every week naman. Kaya ang
Okay. Yes, ma'am. So, after meiosis 1, nandito naman na tayo sa meiosis 2. So, meiosis 2 is known as the second round of cell division, in which the goal is to separate sister chromatids. So, just like the meiosis 1, it will also undergo PMAT or yung Prophase, Metaphase, Anaphase, and Telophase. Pero ngayon, tinatawag na natin siyang Prophase 2, Metaphase 2, Anaphase 2, and Telophase 2. And since they're almost the same, ma'am, na yung pag-undergo nila ng processes, i-differentiate na lang natin. Ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ni meiosis 1 at meiosis 2? So in meiosis 1, homologous chromosomes separate, while in meiosis 2, sister chromatids separate. Okay, clear yan learners ha? Ito pa, in meiosis 2, it produces 4 haploid daughter cells. 4 haploid daughter cells, whereas in meiosis 1, it produces 2 diploid daughter cells. And another important thing to remember is the genetic recombination or yung crossing over ay nangyayari lang sa meiosis 1. Meiosis 1 lang po. And to give you an idea, ano ba yung sinasabi ni ma'am na diploid at haploid? So pag sinabi nating diploid, that contains 2 copies of each chromosome, a cell or organism that has paired chromosome, 1 from each parent. At ang haploid naman, 1 copy of each chromosome.
Yes, so actually, Ma'am Rosel, ang meiosis 2 ay just like mitosis lang din siya. Okay. So let's see if you understand the concept about diploid and haploid. So I want you to identify the correct chromosome number of these organisms given its diploid or haploid number. So let's have an example, Ma'am Lynn. A mosquito. Okay. A mosquito has a diploid number of chromosome of 6. What about haploid? Yes, yun yung mnemonic, parang isipin nila agad, ano? Oh, 6. 6 divided by 2 is? 3. Oh,
wow, ang galing!
Okay. Yes. So, ayan, may sumasagot na din. Okay, ito, dear learners, ito ang chance ninyong sumagot. Ayan. So, ito yung mga organisms. Number 1 is frog, number 2 is corn, and number 3 is guava.
Ilagay akong frog, corn, guava ang sagot ninyo. So, first, frog, haploid, the given is haploid 13. So, what is the diploid?
Yes.
So, ibigay ang diploid ng organism na frog.
Pakilagay po ang organism, frog. Kahit wag nyo nang susula ay itatype po yung diploid. Or pwede rin po kayong tumawag if you wish to. Okay.
Mahina po yung sound, sabi ni Ashley. Mahina po ang sound natin.
Okay.
Ayan, may sagot na ma'am,
May
si
sumagot
Jamie
na.
Lamug.
Yes. Anong sagot niya, sir?
Ayan ma'am, so actually ma'am, may sagot na siya sa 3 organism.
Wow.
Pero yung sa number 1 niya ma'am, ang sagot niya is 26. Tama ba ma'am Mio?
Sa frog.
Sa frog.
Diploid ang hinihingi
Yes,
doon.
diploid.
Correct ba yun?
Yes, 26 is the correct answer.
Okay. How about the corn?
How about the corn, sir? Anong answer niya?
Corn is 20. What's the haploid?
Ang haploid niya ma'am is 10.
Okay, 20 divided by 2 is 10. And number 3,
Ang sagot niya naman ma'am is 11.
11. Yes. Yan.
Perfect, Ma'am Lynn.
Wow! Sino yun, sir?
Si Jamie
Miel Lamug.
ma'am.
Aristotle ito. Nag-under
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, very good. Jamie Mel Lamog. Meron kang plus point sa akin, anak.
Wow.
Mo yan ngayon. At sa lahat ng mga sumasagot dyan na nag-under sa akin at mga napipili
May nakita din ako, ma'am, from 8 Maroon. Nakita ko din dito. Nagsagot din siya. Nathaniel Subia, Agbayani, ayan. Shout out sa'yo. Ikaw, sir, meron ba?
Sa ano ko ma'am, sa 8 Burgundy. And I think nagsasagot pa lang sila.
So marami pa rin mga nakasagot.
Yes ma'am, marami pa rin silang... Yes ma'am.
Okay, so talagang nakikinig sila, di ba? Okay, so just remember, our dear learners, haploid means containing one set of chromosomes, and diploid means containing two sets of chromosomes, one from each parent. So because meiosis creates cells that are destined to become gametes or reproductive cells, this reduction chromosome number is critical. Why? Because without it, the union of two gametes during fertilization would result in offspring with twice the normal or the standard number of chromosomes. Kasi dapat hindi ba from the father 23, then mother is
23 set of chromosomes.
Ensure that fusion of gametes will result in a cell of 46 chromosomes.
Yes, Ma'am
Ang
Lynn.
reduction in chromosomes, 46 plus 46, ilan yun, Ma'am Rio?
92 na yon.
Kung naging 92 ang chromosomes mo.
Oh, yun po. So, what would happen kaya, my dear learners, if one has or 92 chromosomes or something went wrong during meiosis? What do you think would happen? Okay, pwede kayong tumawag. Ano kaya ang pwedeng mangyari kung nagkaroon ng non-disjunction o kaya na-replicate ng yung hindi tamang proseso sa meiosis? What do you think would happen? Pwede po kayong tumawag.
Yes, ma'am. Ulitin natin yung cellphone number. Pwede kayong tumawag dito sa 0997-549-7449. Okay, ulitin natin habang wala pang tumatawag. 0997-549-7449.
Okay, may nag-comment sa ating comment section. When a sperm fertilizes an egg, the union leads to a baby with 46 chromosomes. But if meiosis doesn't happen normally, a baby may have an extra chromosome or have a missing chromosome. So these problems can cause pregnancy loss or they can cause health problems in a child.
Yes, exactly. Ang galing naman yan, Ma'am Rio. Sino ba yan? Ang ganda ng explanation.
Lester John Lopez ng 8 Ivory. Estudyante ko yan, Ma'am Rosel.
Akala ko naman ma'am, sa Burgundy yan.
Okay. Meron din nag-text via SMS, Ariana Faye Ramos, Carnate. If something went wrong during meiosis, this can lead to mutations in gametes. Defective gametes that undergo fertilization may result in miscarriages or ultimately lead to genetic disorders.
Congratulations.
Yes. Okay, so tama lahat ng mga sinabi ninyo, mga anak. Meiosis may not always proceed normally. Problems during meiosis sometimes happen and cause great harm during embryonic development. So, accidents like miscarriages o yung, ano yun ma'am, nakunan, or genetic errors and birth defects just like, halimbawa, walang butas ang anus o kaya may
cleft palate, yes.
May yun yung mga birth defects na tinatawag. So these accidents may affect the movement of the chromosomes and the functioning of the spindle fiber. So sa ating mga tao, non-disjunction or yung hindi paghihiwalay ng dalawang homologous chromosome in meiosis 1 or 2 have been known to cause abnormal conditions such as Down syndrome, Patau syndrome, and Klinefelter syndrome.
Meron yata tayo mga pictures yan.
Yes.
So, yan nabanggit mo, parang gusto kong ipasok dito. Sabi mo ma'am, nagkakaroon ng mga genetic error. So, kumbaga, pasok ko nga kasi nung naglilihi ako. Naglilihi ako. Kasi kayo, wala pang mga asawa eh.
ikaw.
Mga matatanda, sabi ng mga lola ko, noon, Ray, yung ngayon, yung mga matatanda pa, huwag mong kainin yan, huwag mong kainin yan. Sige ka, pag yan ang pinaglihan mo, yung anak mo, ganito, ganito. Magkakaroon, mamaya, walang kamay yan. Pag kumakain ako ng kambal na saging, sige ka,
Magiging kambal.
din ang anak mo.
Sana nga ganun kadali, ano, ma'am?
Pero dahil we are science teachers,
Yes.
nag-aaralan din natin ito, so sabi ko sa kanila, no scientific
Yes.
basis ang mga ito. Pero syempre, ang mga matatanda, yun na ang kanilang napapaniwalaan, yun na ang kanilang nakasanay. So, ang ginawa ko, so pinakinggan ko lang sila, then I respect their opinion. So, nirespeto ko rin naman mga sabi ko na lang, sige po. So, nag-ingat na rin lang ako. And kanina sabi mo, ma'am, yung Patao syndrome. So, that is the Patao syndrome or the trisomy 13, which results from 3 copies of chromosomes number 13 kasi hindi naghiwalay, ano?
Opo.
So, ano mga mangyayari? So, pwede magkaroon yan ng problem sa heart, no? Magkakaroon ng heart defects, yung individual, magiging weak muscle tone, or intellectual disability and brain disorders. At nasa research ko, ito rin ba yung so cleft lip?
Opo. Or
Cleft palate. Yes.
That happens if the tissue that makes up the lip does not join completely before birth. Kasi meron din akong estudyante noon na ganyan sa cleft lip siya. Ngayon, medyo nagtatampo siya sa magulang niya kasi parang nasaldak daw yung nanay niya noon. So, sinisisi niya ang nanay niya. Dahil gano'n sa kantatay, sabi ko, hindi gano'n anak. So, hindi nila kasalanan na. No? So, something wrong during the meiosis process.
Any excess or kulang sa number of chromosome, yun ang talagang rason. Hindi po yung mga sinasabi lang nila.
okay.
Therefore, that is why, to avoid fetal abnormalities, pregnant women, o kayo Ma'am Rion, Ma'am Rosel, magiging nanay kayo later on, you ought to exercise frequently. Kahit buntis, may exercise yan na pagbuntis. Maintain a healthy weight and keep track of their medical history, medicines, and vaccines prior to conception. So, para maiwasan din lahat yan. So, ingat-ingat din, mga mamshis.
Yes. Okay, so the product of meiosis, each gamete has only half of the number of chromosomes of the parent cell, which is 23. When these eggs and sperms unite during fertilization, a diploid zygote forms. The zygote has one full set of chromosomes received from each parent. So sa atin, sa tao, both the father and the mother will contribute to that 23 pairs of chromosomes, each through their sex cells. So, pantay po yan, yung pag-combine nila, 23 galing kay father and then kay mother, ganun din.
Yes, ma'am. Thus, the zygote has 46 chromosomes. The zygote divides through mitosis many times. This produces a new diploid multicellular organism. So, 4 haploid cells are produced after meiosis. These cells undergo development for them to become mature and functional gametes. So, the process of gametogenesis differs between male and female organisms. So this happens inside the gonads or the testes and ovaries. Kasi nga ma'am, sa male and female, yung quantity or yung naproproduce nila, kahit same lang yung process ng meiosis and mitosis nila, is meron difference. For example, during sa spermatogenesis sa male, your testicles make several million of sperm per day, about 1,500 per second. So by the end of the full sperm production cycle, you can regenerate up to 8 billion sperm. So this may seem like overkill, but you release anywhere from 20 to 300 million sperm cells. Ayan. So yun yung sa lalaki. How about naman sa babae? So at birth, there are approximately 1 million eggs, and by the times of puberty, only about 300,000 remains. So of this, only 300 to 400 will ovulated during a woman's reproductive lifetime. So fertility can drop as a woman ages due to decreasing number of and quality of the remaining eggs. Ayan, ma'am. So yun pala yung isang factor kung bakit nahihirapan ng magbuntis or magkanak pag meron ng edad.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Ngayon naman, Sir Ryan, ayan. So, ano nga ba yung iba pang importance ng meiosis? What do you think? Aside from, meron tayo, di ba?
Okay.
So, what else?
As the learners.
Yes, ma'am. Baka may idea ang ating mga learners.
So, what are the importance of
Other
meiosis?
important.
Tignan natin.
Okay. So, ano yung other importance of meiosis?
Ma'am, may nag-ano sa akin ang may nag-message ng mga estudyante ko. Sabi niya, "Good morning po ma'am. Ito po ang sagot namin ni Precious Daniela. Mabuti po ma'am sa tanong niyo po the importance of meiosis."
Meiosis.
So, ang sagot nilang dalawa. Nag-collab sila.
Opo.
So, the importance of meiosis is that it ensures that all organisms that are produced in sexual reproduction have the correct amount of chromosomes. Meiosis is responsible for the formation of sex cells or gametes that are responsible for sexual reproduction and it also aids in repairing the genetic defects. Ma'am Rio.
Okay. So, very good, TJ and Daniela. So, nag-collaborate sila, no, Ma'am Lynn? So, very good sa inyo, my dear learners. So, ayun po yung importance of meiosis. So, nagkakaroon ng variation also, or genetic diversity sa mga species.
Si Ariana at yung kanya ding best friend. Sabi nila, meiosis is important because it provides constancy of the chromosomes number from generation to generation by reducing the chromosome number from diploid to haploid, thereby producing haploid gametes. Meiosis also allows random assortment of maternal and paternal chromosomes between the gametes and relocates segments of maternal and paternal chromosomes by crossing over of chromosome segments, which shackles the genes and produces recombination of genetic material.
Okay, exactly, Ma'am Lynn. So, lahat ng sinabi ng ating mga learners ay tama. At ito pa, additional. One importance of meiosis is the production of variation. So, also, meiosis creates a new combination of genetic material in each of the 4 daughter cells. This new combination results from the exchange of DNA between paired chromosomes. Such exchange means that the gametes produced through meiosis exhibit an amazing range of genetic variation. So new individuals do not resemble their parents closely. Genetic variation in a species enables the species to survive. Crossing over produces a new combination of traits and variations. So ayan, nakikita nyo yung mga naggagandahan na kamukha namin. Ayan, so sila ay product ng meiosis.
So,
Yes.
Ma'am Rosel, Ma'am Rio, gusto ko din tanungin pa ang ating mga learners. So, ano kaya mangyayari? What would happen if meiosis suddenly stops?
Oo.
Ano kaya mangyayari pag huminto?
Kung sabi kanina, importance, nagkakaroon ng diversity.
Variation, yes.
Oo. Ngayon, paano naman pag nag-stop ang meiosis? Ano mangyayari sa ating mga living organisms?
May mga nagko-comment lang.
Ayun, may tumatawag, Ma'am Lynn. Hello? Ayan.
Sino to? Hello, good morning anak. Sino to?
Hello po.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello anak. Sino to anak? What's your name? Lapit mo i-connect natin daw paano. Oh, may tumatawag din sa akin.
Hello? Hello? Ayan,
Ay, si Kapal.
Ashley.
Oo. Tumatawag din si TJ. TJ, mamaya kita sagutin na ka
Aslin?
after ni Aslin.
Anong sagot mo sa question natin? Apo?
If meiosis suddenly stops, reproduction would be impossible for the living things that undergo sexual reproduction to reproduce an offspring. And when all of this slowly decrease in numbers, then there would be a massive extinction in all living things. Yun po yung sagot ko, ma'am.
Okay, so ang word na ang tawag dito na pick up ko is magkakaroon daw ng extinction. Tama ba, Sir Ryan?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, very good, Asli. Tama yung sagot mo. Once na nag-stop ang meiosis, okay, Aslin, once na nag-stop ang meiosis, magkakaroon ng extinction. Okay, may sagot din si Aslin.
Okay, good morning. Sige anak, anong sagot?
Ma'am, if meiosis suddenly stops, reproduction in sexual mode will be impossible. The population of offspring produced through sexual production will eventually decrease, that can result in extinction.
Okay.
Results in extinction din, ma'am, yung parang point ni Aslin.
Okay, so tumatawag ito si TJ ko kanina, hindi na-miss ko, minessage niya. Sabi niya, ano yung ko natin kanina, ayun, tumatawag ulit siya. Ito na. Hello, Nak. Hello, TJ.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello po, ma'am.
O, ayan, sige anak, anong sagot mo? What would happen if meiosis suddenly stops?
The offspring may have an extra or missing chromosome. These problems can cause health problems to the offspring. The number of chromosomes will not remain constant and will be duplicated after sexual reproduction. And an organism will not be able to reproduce that easily and effectively, or reproduction will not be achieved if meiosis suddenly stops.
Okay, so galing naman ng sagot ni TJ Ma'am Maria. Congratulations, Nak. So, napaka-active nitong learner ko rin na ito.
Pati si Asli at
Oo.
Aslin, mama, no? So, tama yung mga sagot nila.
Yes.
So, the Earth will suffer extinction once na nag-stop suddenly ang meiosis. Especially yung mga multicellular eukaryotes.
Yes.
Okay.
Ang magsusurvive na lang, therefore, ma'am, yung mga prokaryotic, which is
Yes.
bacteria. So, imagine the earth na
Kasi
ang mga survivors lang
Binary
bacteria.
fusion kasi dadami
Yes,
sila, okay?
Okay, now let's have the summary of our lesson for today. Cell cycle is the series of events that take place in a cell that cause it to divide into two daughter cells.
So the cell cycle is divided into phases, interphase and M phase. So the cell grows in size and replicate their DNA during interphase. In mitosis, the important thing to remember is that the daughter cells each have the same chromosomes and DNA as the parent cell. The daughter cells from mitosis are called diploid cells. Diploid cells have two complete sets of chromosomes. Since the daughter cells have exact copies of their parent cells' DNA, no genetic diversity is created through mitosis in the normal healthy cells.
Okay, so in meiosis naman, each new cell contains a unique set of genetic information. So after meiosis, the sperm and egg cells can join to create a new organism. So there are two rounds of cell division, namely meiosis I and meiosis II. Okay, so the end result is four daughter cells called haploid cells. So remember, our dear learners, okay, may mga chromosomal abnormalities once na nagkaroon ng lacking of chromosome or non-disjunction. And, ayan, remember, mitosis is what helps us grow, and meiosis is why we are all unique. Okay, that's all for today, our dear learners.
Yes, we are
The Team Ocho. So, see you all next next week for another fruitful discussion in Science 8.
Goodbye! And thank you!
Thank you so
Radio.
much!
Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan. Ang estasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWDR FM.
Nais mong matuto, buksan mo ang iyong radyo. Lahat kami ay narito, tapat sa aming serbisyo. Walang problema.